Hi, this is Lori Leiker. I'm managing partner at Search and Convert, and welcome to S&C Conversations. Today, we're going to be speaking with PJ Christie and Aaron Springler about TikTok. Aaron is our social media and content specialist, and PJ is our CEO and founder. And TikTok has come under fire from the government for having ties with the Chinese government. There's a big controversy about whether or not people will really be able to be safe on TikTok, especially kids, because that's their target market. So, PJ, in looking at this, how does that impact things like advertising and whatnot when it comes to TikTok?
Well, I guess it just kind of depends on the business's concerns, I hear as far as sorry, I got some coffee down my throat. As far as what I've heard from business owners and their Chinese concerns, it's as much about trademark and patent concerns. And a lot of, which doesn't impact me very much, right? I mean, I don't worry as much about it, but a lot of businesses do. And frankly, there's a lot of businesses outside of China that would like to find a way to reach the 1 billion consumers. And China, I mean, this does impact me. Like in my work, it's really difficult to offer a product in Chinese markets. There's not a level playing field the way there is with reaching European markets, for example. I'm not so certain that the average consumer really thinks much about the privacy issues, although I think they should, because the average consumer that I talk to feels like they've already given away all their privacy. What's one more government?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It doesn't sit right with me. But I have other things that that concern me more about TikTok than just the privacy issues and the foreign government issues. To me, it's just a time waster, and I don't really when I'm looking for something, I don't find what I'm looking for there, and I always spend more time there than I think I should, and I usually feel pretty empty at the end of it. Now, those aren't privacy concerns, but what I do definitely see with privacy concerns is my wife works at UT. She's an academic advisor at UT. They can't use it on campus at all. No student can use it, and that's a state of Texas directive. So sometimes when it comes to those large political things, I accept that I don't understand what information they actually use to do their job, and they probably see something I don't, and it's not really for me to second guess it from the outside what the state of Texas will or won't let me do. But some of the objections that I hear from people that think that they know better in a corporate environment than the IT team or the technology officers that they have to maintain the equipment and keep their privacy is for them to think that they know more than the people who are running the network. I think that they should just take a step back and let the pros do their job. I don't know. Does that kind of get to your question?
Yeah. Yeah. Aaron, why don't you explain just a little bit about exactly what TikTok is?
Yeah, I mean, so TikTok's a social media platform. Obviously, it's based on short videos. The algorithms are, what I hear, fairly advanced. So people, really get dug into their algorithms, what they're interested in. Hashtags in the community are very prevalent on TikTok, which is, I think, why you see a lot of Gen Z and a lot of people who are interested in honestly more the advocacy side of things is really the biggest pushback I hear from people for why they think it's a beneficial thing. It's really easy to spread information. It's really easy to gain information. And the bite-sized videos are very addictive, for better or for worse, mostly for worse, in my opinion. There's been studies on the brain and just how that can affect you. And like PJ said, it just kind of leaves you feeling drained. I'm a millennial. I don't actively use many social media platforms at all. And I don't use TikTok in a personal way. I have my own concerns, but those are just mine. A lot of those do have to come from data, where it's going. It's my main concern with most social media platforms. But I don't think the argument that TikTok is just like every social media platform is very valid, especially it being obviously a Chinese run company. So yeah, I mean, that's kind of my insight to it. I don't necessarily think the pros outweigh the cons, mostly because if not TikTok, something else. And it is a question of lesser of two evils, but I would like to see a domestic company that is mining all of my data versus, a foreign government. But at the end of the day, I mean, data is data. So I'm not really one to say.
I'm a boomer and I use TikTok, but in a very narrow way.
Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're a boomer on TikTok.
And what I see and what I hear about TikTok is, and it's not in my feed, my algorithm, but there are a lot of kids using it at school or after school or before school to do these ridiculous challenges that somebody always ends up getting hurt. And lots of rumors and things spread. But that's how, I mean, I was an early adopter of Twitter and an early adopter of all the social media platforms. And they all started out that way, where there was always something bad. And just like the internet being like a city, you've got good and bad on all the social media platforms. To me, with TikTok, my nephew, two of my nephews are contributors to TikTok, pretty active contributors, and they get thousands and thousands of views on their TikTok feeds, and they make money at it. And there's a woman who, and I don't follow her, but there's a woman who's 68, 69, and she is an Mississippi cook, home cook, and she teaches you how to cook Mississippi style food in her kitchen. Butter. And it's all down home and stuff like that. But so there's good and bad on any social media platform, especially in the early days before they flush it out. To me, my concerns aren't so much about my data. I saw a thing this morning about it. They were asking the Chinese representative of the company who was before Congress, if you hook up to your Wi-Fi, your phone up to your Wi-Fi and use TikTok, does TikTok have access to your Wi-Fi? That's kind of like saying if I plug my TV into the socket, do I then have access to the power grid? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Yeah.
So what kind of information can they pull that would be useful to the Chinese government, for either of you?
Well, my understanding is the Chinese government doesn't own it, but they leverage technology that the Chinese government does own. So the only clarification I would make on what you said, Lori, is just the clarification of the Chinese government has access to it. It isn't that they own it.
Right.
It's a distinction possibly without a real relevant reason, but for example, I run a company, and there's a lot of sensitive information that comes through, that comes across my screen. That's just how it is. I have to tell my kids, don't give out dad's phone number. Don't give out dad's email because the risks, there's people out there who can spoof my name, spoof my number, go to T-Mobile, get my phone number transferred over someplace else, and then they've got like all of it. If they have my phone number, they have all of it. So I have to tell my kids, don't give anyone dad's number. Don't sign up for any services using any of our, we have to use shared passwords within our families that's just a function of doing it. Don't ever let anybody outside of this family know what these passwords are. But my boys are creative, my boys are doing some really creative things with TikTok. And I got schooled by my 18-year-old. I didn't really know what I was doing, and I put a couple of videos up for my band, and he said, nobody will watch a 3-minute video on TikTok. I was like, well, that's fine. They don't have to, but it's there. He said, I mean, the algorithm isn't going to show a 3-minute video to anybody on TikTok. It isn't like somebody might watch 10 seconds of it and move on. It's just that the algorithm won't show it to them. I'm like, okay, well, so then the creative uses are pretty cool. Like, the people do a lot of lip syncing, they do a lot of dancing, and that's one thing. There's a lot of guitar players on there. There's some really, creative things going on, and I can see why people migrate to it. Now at least the NPR report that I heard, and it's in the news all the time, is that Oracle is sort of a data partner for TikTok at this point.
Mm-hmm.
and that if everything works out the way that they were talking about on the radio show, then Oracle is going to be holding Americans' data, not a Chinese entity. Well, is that any better? Honestly, a privacy concern is a privacy concern, whether it's Oracle or a private company in China. There's more fraud and more risk, I think, with unknown actors across the ocean than Oracle. But I mean, Oracle is just as big. I'm sure they have data on 1 billion people already. So, I applaud you for being a boomer on TikTok. And honestly, I feel like my use on TikTok, if brands had really good creative content, like Fender guitar, like if the brands that I really, really like had good content, I would much rather associate with them there, because I don't have any friends on TikTok. And I'm really not interested in a lot of the TikTok celebrities either. They're not. I mean, I love Southern cooking, but I already know how to cook Southern, right? Like I said, it's a lot of butter, it's a lot of Zatarain's. You can't make anything bad if you use enough butter and Zatarain's. But TikTok just isn't a platform that is delivering for me very well. And I don't. And like I said, as a business owner, I feel like the stakes are too high to let my kids just do whatever they want on there. It seems to introduce a lot of risk outside of just the data and the privacy, because there's so much phishing occurring. There's a lot of that occurs from China. And it's all, I don't know how wide open it is or not. I don't know if anybody can really audit a system like that to know how much risk there is of personal information getting out. And I think Oracle has those controls. Again, it's like, yes, I do. And the fact is, I do trust Oracle more than a Chinese entity, because I know that they've been managing my data for years.
Aaron, one thing that's come about as a result of TikTok is that Meta has introduced Reels in Instagram and Shorts in Facebook. How do the privacy issues, not just the privacy issues, but the overall issue of TikTok, how is that impacted by what Meta's doing with Instagram and Facebook?
I mean, well, it's definitely influenced them. You can see since TikTok's launch, videos in general across all social media platforms have just skyrocketed. That's where you're going to see the most engagement. That's where you're going to see the most impressions. Their algorithms favorite, similar to Reels. Facebook wants to make that a thing, or Meta rather. So those will always get top priority with the algorithms, as far as my experience. I mean, and it's, yeah, I mean, we're living in an age where attention spans are so short and people want their content quick and dirty. So I think everyone's just trying to kind of get on that level.
Mhm. So overall, I'm going to ask you one at a time. What do you think is a reasonable response to what's going on with TikTok? Ban it, don't ban it. PJ?
Well, I think if I could design the system that I think would be appropriate, it would be where Apple and Google and the phone app ecosystem offered some kind of a free market response to it rather than a regulatory response. I think an effective free market response from Apple or Google would at least build some transparency into the process. If Apple could say, hey, we looked at it and it's good. It's what they're doing is solid. The only objection that people have is just the country that the servers are located in. Otherwise, it's just as robust as any other system. I would say, okay. But I don't see a free market solution really developing that doesn't have the thumb of government on it. And I'm not a person who usually says don't trust the government on anything. As I kind of said in the beginning, I'm kind of saying, please government do something, because I don't think that private or the free market will, and I don't think the FTC will. So yeah, get involved. That's the system that I would design, is something that had a little bit more of a free market element to it, because I don't think that a truly free market would favor TikTok, except it's awesome for the people who think it's awesome. They do have great creator tools. It's awesome for the people who think it's awesome, but I think that Google and Apple are really the distributor for it. And, if it weren't available on the App Store, I don't think most people would go out of their way to download it to their phone.
Aaron, what do you think?
No, I totally agree with PJ. The only thing really I'll add is, it's more at the individual level. I think we have a big problem with social media, current trends, no oversight, just on a personal level. I think parents and guardians should I unmuted myself. Should definitely be keeping an eye on these platforms as they emerge. Lead by example, and that often does mean being involved in them, taking part, participating, looking at the content, limiting screen time. All the basic things we've already heard, but it'd be nice to see where social sciences go with all this, seeing the effects as the years roll on of what these apps and platforms have an effect on us. One of the reasons I really wanted to get into doing social media was to kind of be the change I wanted to see, to not have just bad noise, make good content that connects with people. And I think that should be anyone's goal as content creators and as consumers. Your time is valuable. It kind of goes with the saying, like, if you're not paying for the service, you are the service. And I think just kind of keeping that in mind throughout your media consumption is important.
For me, it's training everyone how to set up their algorithms so that they're getting the content they want and not getting junk. For me, I don't do politics. So I weeded out everything in my feeds on social media that has to do with politics. I don't do R-rated movies. So anything that's not safe for work, that uses swear words and things like that, I've been able to, through the process of elimination, get rid of those out of my feed. If we train kids how to do that, if we train adults how to do that, for that matter, I think all these platforms would be safer. I don't have so much concern about the Chinese government being able to get my information, because as PJ said, they've already got it. Everybody's got everybody's information already. Not that I'm just ignoring the privacy concerns. I think the bigger concern has to do with the use of TikTok in the government offices. So I think banning it from government offices and government computers and phones and things like that is critical.
I think it's
I
a
think
great response, yeah.
for national security. But I'm not in favor of a whole lot more regulation than there already is, because market forces will do what they did with MySpace. You know, MySpace went away and was replaced by Facebook and Twitter. And as these other platforms age and mature, TikTok is going to do the same thing. And the ones that survive are the ones that provide the content that people want, and not a lot of noise, if they train it right.
Yeah.
So that's my 2 cents on it. Well, thank you, gentlemen. I really appreciate you being here on S&C Conversations, and we'll get together soon to take up another topic that we can hash over.
Okay. Okay.
Sounds
Thank
great.
you.
We'll solve all the
Bye.
world's problems again. Bye.
There you go.
Thanks, Lori.
Thanks for joining us for this conversation, S&C Conversations. We hope you enjoyed it. If you've got a topic that you'd like for us to address as a team, we'd be more than happy to do that. Just email PM@searchandconvert.com. Thanks for listening.